Last time on Meerkat Manor, roving male Wilson was ejected from the Aztecs when Maybelline's dad Zaphod dropped by unexpectedly for a visit. Not to be put off, Wilson turned his attentions to Zaphod's other daughters at the Whiskers. But his arrival there started all sorts of trouble. A tryst with subordinate female Sophie exposed Rocket Dog's lack of authority over her family. First up at the Whiskers burrow is Lone Star. At 3 years old, he might have been expected to have left home by now. But until now, this young, inexperienced and mostly unremarkable meerkat has been content to lose himself in the group. But in the last few weeks, something curious has awoken in him. Lone Star has come of age, and now it's his time to stand out from the crowd. Over the past few weeks, the complexion of the Whiskers has changed dramatically. Zaphod, the last of the old guard, went roving, leaving the fate of the family in the hands of his children. For dominant female Rocket Dog, Dad's departure has been a mixed blessing. She can no longer rely on his experience to get her out of scrapes, but at least he isn't hanging around getting in the way of her love life. Now, though, there's a new pretender to the crown, Zorro. He's green, he's lazy, and he's her brother. But Zorro's not about to let that stop him becoming top dog. As eldest son, Zorro was well placed to take over when Zaphod took off. And it hasn't taken him long to realize his ambitions. He's forced his will on the family, and the other males have accepted him as their commander. Only time will tell whether he can cut it as the Whiskers general. Lone Star is first to head out for breakfast. The perfect start to the day would be a nice fat scorpion, but for that, he's going to need a lot of luck. The Whiskers cupboard is looking decidedly bare. With food supplies running this low, it's clearly time for the group to move on. Rocket Dog leads the way. But nobody seems eager to follow. Over the past few weeks, dissension has started to show in the ranks. Rocket Dog may still be the Whiskers' leader, but only just. Reluctantly, the others fall into line. Whatever Lone Star has found, it isn't fast food. He's spent too long on nothing, and the family are getting away. And if they get too far ahead, he might miss something. Ahead of them, half a kilometer away, lies Commando territory. Legendary warrior Nikita is their boss, and she's as tough as they come. Since her mate, the mean one-eyed Hannibal, died, she's been fighting all her own battles. And she's got the scars to prove it. There's no question as to who is boss here. Nikita runs a tight ship, and it's working. Through aggression and intimidation, her commandos have carved out a large territory all for themselves. With a fearsome leader and a well-stocked larder, this gang is sitting pretty, and they'll do whatever it takes to keep it that way. Rocket Dog has caught the scent of food. At last, it's time for breakfast. But the Whiskers are trespassing, and someone is watching them. It's the dreaded Commandos, Rocket Dog's worst nightmare. She has never yet led her family to victory against this vicious foe. Her standard tactic is to turn tail and run. But Zorro has other plans. If he wants to prove himself the Whiskers' general, a battleground is the perfect place to earn some stripes. With Lone Star and the other boys in support, he moves forward to start the attack. And Rocket Dog doesn't stop him. The Commandos square up for battle. As the Whiskers attack, it's not General Zorro leading the charge. It's young Lone Star. With both sides evenly matched, this could be anybody's victory. The Commandos look confident. Suddenly, Zorro stops in his tracks. The Whiskers' resolve is wavering. Maybe this isn't quite such a good idea after all. Zorro sounds the retreat. But Lone Star, way out in front, hasn't heard the call. He's still charging, alone. It's now 25 against 1. Lone Star doesn't stand a chance. And the Whiskers are still running in the opposite direction. But the Commandos have made their point and are content to spare Lone Star this time. The Whiskers wait anxiously, oblivious to Lone Star's lucky escape. This could prove a most costly defeat. Survival on the manor depends on choosing your battles carefully. Rocket Dog should have run at the first sign of trouble. But instead, she allowed Zorro and the boys to flex their muscles. A bad mistake, and one more nail in Rocket Dog's coffin. Her indecision is costing them dearly. If she doesn't toughen up soon, her grip on the leadership will be lost entirely. The Kalahari Desert is a place for born survivors, or those who are just born lucky. Left to die at the hands of the enemy, fate has intervened in Lone Star's favor. He walked away from the fight with little more than a flesh wound. But there is a price to pay. For the first time in his life, he's alone in the wilderness. Alone without the security of his family. Still, there's nothing quite like a millipede to take your mind off your troubles. Lone Star has no idea which way the Whiskers went. With one way being as good as another, he sets off. Until he finds them, he's going to have to rely on himself. Is this what independence feels like? It's actually quite exciting. This must be what it's like to be a rover. Ahead, Lone Star spies a group, and there are ladies present. He slinks in for a closer look. But what he doesn't realize is he's back with the Commandos. In what could go down as one of the most foolhardy moves a male meerkat has ever made, Lone Star is attempting to rove at a group that only hours earlier tried to kill him. But sharp-eyed Nikita has already spotted him. Outsiders are simply not welcome on Commando's territory. The call goes out to hunt Lone Star down. But he's nowhere to be found. Lone Star may be a rookie rover, but he's a natural at covert operations. He's making a mockery of the Commando's elite guard. With all the lookouts chasing their tails, Lone Star can't resist the opportunity to introduce himself to a young female. But his cheeky advance blows his cover. Nikita's patience has run out. It's time to take matters into her own hands. If her troops can't deal with this young upstart, then she will do it herself. And she's not known for taking prisoners. It's dusk, and the Commandos are uneasy. Nikita hasn't returned home since heading off in pursuit of Lone Star. It's getting late. Too late even for a formidable meerkat like Nikita to be out on her own. But Nikita is not on her own. She caught up with Lone Star, and he's accepted his punishment. They say you always remember your first time. Lone Star might do well to remember that this lady tried to kill him earlier, but he seems willing to let bygones be bygones. In fact, he appears quite smitten. Unfortunately, Nikita has somewhere else she would rather be. Down a burrow with her commandos. That leaves Lone Star out in the cold. It's the height of bad manners to stay over on your first date. But Lone Star doesn't have many options. He can either follow his lover into her lair, or he can attempt to find a bolt hole in the dark. He chooses to follow. So far, he's been lucky. But will sleeping with the enemy be pushing that luck too far? Dawn, and as usual, Lone Star is first up. But this isn't the Whiskers burrow. It's the Commandos. Last night, Lone Star slept with the enemy. She's cold-hearted, domineering, and she's the leader of the most feared gang on the manor. It's amazing how Dawn can put a different complexion on things. Lone Star skips breakfast. But Nikita's not letting him go that easily. She wants second helpings, and when Madam wants something, Madam gets it. For her, this mating is vital. Nikita needs pups to ensure the future of the Commandos. Until she finds an unrelated male to take over from Hannibal, this bold Rover's genes will have to do. A second roll in the dust increases her chances of getting pregnant. She has no further use for him beyond that, and her rejection hurts. Nikita's day has started with a bang, and she's letting everyone know. She may smell of strange meerkat, but this dark queen of the desert is still very much the boss. Life at the Whiskers, meanwhile, is far from harmonious. Rocket Dog is foraging away from the rest of the family. Some days are made for forgetting, and yesterday was most certainly one of those. Nobody seems to respect authority around here anymore. Whilst the family bickers, Rocket Dog buries her head in the sand. An alarm call finally gets her attention. On the horizon, unwelcome visitors. The last thing Rocket Dog needs right now is another drubbing at the hands of a rival gang. But this is not a war party, it's a party of rovers. And with them, they bring Rocket Dog a potential lifeline. Pups. If Rocket Dog could produce a litter of her own, her shaky position as leader could be stabilized. But Zorro and the boys have other plans. To them, these rovers are nothing but trouble and must be got rid of. As the Rovers are dispatched back into the wilderness, Rocket Dog's hopes go with them. It seems fate is not smiling on her today. Back on the edge of Commando's territory, another Whisker stands on his own, his future equally uncertain. What Lone Star achieved in his first night of independence far surpasses what most achieve in a lifetime. It's opened his eyes to the many promises the desert has to offer. For a meerkat wanting to stand out from the crowd, there may not be a better life than that of a rover. And after such an auspicious start, the call of the vast desert is too much for him to ignore. The Whiskers have always thrived on strong leadership. Lately, the family's fortunes have waned in its absence. Rocket Dog's Whiskers have all but lost their faith in her ability to lead. And a leader without followers is no leader at all. But Rocket Dog is carrying a secret. And it's a secret which could put the family's fortunes right back where they should be. Next time on Meerkat Manor, Rocket Dog's secret is revealed. And babysitter Sophie becomes public enemy #1.